Alright, everybody, so here we go for the harvest rate take 2. I have my moistened bread. Going to get it in the machine and push the start button and just let it go until it stops.
Well, we are back in the top end of the barn again. I'm going to do some things that I quite honestly wasn't planning on doing, but it needs done. At least one of the 2x4s that are up there, I need to pull down, and I'm going to put a T on. I'm going to lay one down flat, put another one on top this way, screw it in, as which Mr. Brown recommended, to give it more of a backbone, knock the lean out of it and the bowing out of it, reinforce it. But before I can do that, I need to find another board that is of the adequate length. So I'm gonna look for that real quick, which I want to say there should be at least one in here. Then I got to get that down, get that drilled in. Things that I'm not looking forward to but need done. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. Alright. Okay, so I found what I'm looking for. It is not a 2x4. However, looks to be the same length. I'm going to measure it to double check, and I will make them the same size, but I will put the 2x4 stood on end and run it down the middle to reinforce this one so that it doesn't have the bow that that one has. So that's where I'm at. I've got to go and get the materials that I'm going to need to do this, and somebody to spot me so that I'm not, well, having a spot is just a safety precaution. All right. Well, I will definitely take that. I have it flush on the far end. A little over a quarter. I don't think it's quite a half an inch right here. Which that I'm not going to stress or worry about. And apparently we have a supervisor. Hey kitty. So, I won't need to do any cutting. I just need to secure this, get it secured, and then back up. So far it doesn't look like that's come in any more than it was. But reinforcing it make it a lot more of a mental comfort. So get this done, because the sooner it's done, the sooner I don't have to be on that ladder. Alright. Alright, so this is our main support. This is the one that's taking most of the weight. Don't know if you can see that, but there is still just a tiny little bit of a wiggle to it. But it is nothing like what it was. I also put the feet in, which that's a huge thank you to both Mr. Brown and one of the comments on the recommendation for putting the back, or well, I'm calling them feet because I can't remember the actual term, but I put those in on the bottom. I did not do them on the top. Let's see if I can show it. There is a lip that I was using for pretty much the same aspect, and I am secured in right underneath of that. But as it stands, it is actually far, far better than what I had done to it. A lot more secure. And again, thank you. I appreciate the recommendations. But we've gotten this done. So now it's time to clean up.
Alright everybody, this has been running a little over 3 hours now, so this is kind of picking up where we left off yesterday. The vacuum hose, or the drain hose, is very, very sensitive for the vacuum to work. It has to be sitting just right, or else that MT number, which is the vacuum, will not drop. And it needs to drop for the vacuum part of this to work. So you gotta pay close attention once the vacuum freezing starts. This had been running on the vacuum cycle for about an hour and a half. And I came over and started fiddling with the hose, and it was at like 1600. And within the last half hour, 40 minutes, it's dropped down to 246. So keep an eye on that if you have one or if you're getting one. Make sure you're keeping a close eye on that vacuum hose, or I'm sorry, the drain hose, and make sure it's closed properly. And it just kicked over to drying. Okay, so during the drying cycle, you do want your MT number to stay between 100 and 900. It will start to go back up, but hopefully very, very slowly. The temperature, obviously, will go up. I will check back in with you guys later.
Okay, so I am currently set up to start running the chicken wire. Would have been amazing if I could have actually gotten that window cut, but not so much. And I still don't know exactly what I hit, because there's nothing right there. But I'm gonna try and get what I can for the chicken wire ran, have that out of the way, at least get a chunk of it done, because that'll make me at least feel like I'm making some sort of progress. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so that's a 2-foot wide section of 1/4-inch hardware cloth. Because of the roll-away nesting boxes with the roll-away catch system on the back side, it's going to create a shelf. So anything that might get on that shelf and try and push in, this would be a lot better of a deterrent for. And I'm not going to leave it open up here. I'm actually going to take standard 1-inch chicken wire across the top, but I wanted the bottom end to be more secure. Unfortunately, that is also a 10-foot strip, and I ran short by quite a bit for what I'm aiming for. That's also the only 2-foot wide that I have at the moment, but this gives me a starting point. So I'm going to hold off on finishing on this end until I get some more. But what I can do is work on this end on the upper side and bring it down so that when I have more hardware cloth, I can go through, put that in on the bottom, and pretty much meet up with the remainder of the chicken wire. But like I said, I'm just aiming to feel like I'm getting somewhere at the moment, and this seemed like the best place to start. Well, I'm gonna stop for a few minutes, go grab something to eat, and then come back. But 2 rows of 1-inch chicken wire with enough overlap that I can bind it together without any kind of issues. And then the opening in the bottom, which is just under 2 feet, I'll be able to run a 2-foot wide strip of the hardware cloth. So that gives me a pretty decent idea as to where I'm at and what I'm looking at. But I'll be back. Well, I'm currently hoping that this actually shows up on video, because based on what I'm seeing, I don't see the chicken wire. But the inside of the door is done. So that's one thing that is out of the way at this point. So, see what else I can get. Well, my phone is almost dead and I can't get my portable charger to work with it, but I'm going to spend the rest of my time down in the barn cutting my lengths, getting that squared out so that when I'm ready, all I got to do is go through, staple everything up, wire it together, and try and make it short work. But it's probably the end of me videoing for the day, so.
Alright everybody, so this has been running for about 7.5 hours, and we are about halfway through the final dry cycle. We will have to check back in tomorrow because it is getting late tonight, so this is where we're going to leave you guys for the day. I will let you know in the next video how the bread turned out. And then I think we're going to plan to get some apples in here. So we will check in with you guys later. Have a good day.